Hello and welcome to the new episode of Divination Detectives. Today we have an interesting topic talking about the Wrren estate, the famous demonologists and ghost hunters. Comedian Matt Rife and YouTube creator Elton Castee now own the house and museum of Ed and Lorraine Warren, paranormal investigators and demonologists who kept under lock and key a collection of haunted objects acquired during their time as investigators of the paranormal. They also have ownership rights to the collection for the next 5 years. A collection that, amongst other things, houses the infamous Annabelle doll, which has in recent months been on tour of America, making headlines when its caretaker died mid-tour. Some of the lesser-known objects in the collection contain a haunted piano, rumored to come from a house of a deceased priest, that briefly appears in the Conjuring universe, Annabelle Comes Home. A vampire coffin is also part of the collection, though little is known about its origin besides the fact that it is believed to belong to a modern-day vampire, whatever that is supposed to mean. Featured in the 2010s Conjuring, the Perron family music box also takes residence in the Warren Museum, a music box that was recovered in 1971 from the Perron family, who were haunted by the spirit of a Satanist witch spirit, Bathsheba Sherman. Duo plans on opening the house for overnight stays and museum tours so that we, as the public, can experience and learn about some of the most haunted history of our time. Quote, "We're going to make the best paranormal investigation location on the planet." Tony Sfera, Warren's son-in-law, said the collection is only leased and there is no plan to ever sell the haunted collection artifacts.
That's right. It's a very interesting topic because as soon as you said like they're going to rent out rooms for the night, I'm like, why would you spend the night there? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little disclaimer to protect our own asses from all of this craziness in this museum. We have great respect for the paranormal, the deceased, any kind of spirits that are involved in this energy that we're about to tap into. And I just wanted to say that before we start tapping in, that we're doing this mainly out of our own curiosity. And I'm sure many other people are curious about this. And we wanted to kind of tap in and just uncover a little bit more layers to this onion of horrors.
Yeah. What is the actual intent with that? So, without
Yeah,
opening any cards, what, in your opinion, is like the first thing that comes to mind? Why would they go on and do
definitely,
that?
definitely money because I feel that there's a growing industry in like this tourism. I want to say like paranormal tourism because I feel like in the last decade or maybe last 2 decades even, but maybe in the last 10 years, a lot of people have shifted, right? From being afraid based on their religions and their cultures and whatever. More people are open. So, yeah, I think it's just a more popular thing. And I feel like it's an untapped monetary thing, first of all. What do
Mhm.
you think?
I share your opinion in that because in the last decade in particular, I think even I would probably say more so 15 years. Because for me, looking at the trends of maybe like YouTube and stuff like that, when it became popular to go on graveyards and just talk to spirits or sit there and connect to anyone that has laid over or go into haunted houses. I'm thinking of people like, paranormal researchers, TV shows that talk about, paranormal research, bigger YouTubers like Graveyard Girl with her paranormal investigations and going to the graveyard to research, whatever was going on or spirits that might be there and trying to connect to them. So public interest has definitely grown. And then we just also look at popular media, horror movies and general publications that come out from books to movies to series that are heavily, heavily, heavily focused on paranormal spirits, ghosts, demons, and just the fascination with the other side, with death. And I almost feel like This is almost a second coming of the turn of the century, 18th to 19th century, with spiritualism. You had the seances and stuff like that. So I feel like we are sort of back in that mentality, or stepping back into that
Mhm.
aspect once more.
I wonder too, like if that is kind of like an astrological pattern, like the collective kind of like being open spiritually at these certain times, like you said, at the turn of the century, because you're right, it kind of reminds me of the Victorian era, like 'cause
Mm-hmm.
death was so common and everybody was trying to connect with their loved ones and their dead children and all the things. And then it kind of went to the wayside with the Industrial Revolution, and everybody's
Mm-hmm.
more focused on what's the 3D, we'll say. And then now, yeah, it's kind of going back. So I wonder if there's, yeah, some
Yeah.
reasoning behind that. The other thing too, I just want to say is like you said, there's a YouTuber involved.
Yes.
Like some of these kids have so much money, like they just need to find ways to spend their money. So
Yep. True.
this is
True.
another thing. It's like having oodles of money and well, let's like, do something fun with it. Like
True.
there's some people that are yeah, able to do that. So yeah, I'd love I'd be happy to start pulling some cards.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, so I'm going to ask kind of like what is their physical intention and then what is their spiritual intention?
Okay.
Because, and I hope they're considering both because
Let's see.
you
I will
can't.
pull for the same thing and see what happens on my end if
Okay.
our messages collide. And I will also just add on to what you said before. And maybe this would be a fun episode for us to explore as well, if you're down to do that, to look at the astrological aspects at the turn of the century at that point, and see if
Mm.
there is any correlations to where we are right now. And if you're listening and are interested in maybe hearing about that, do let us know either on social media or down in the comments. Looking at spiritual side of things, for us as readers, this is when we have the creation of the two most popular decks in our modern times. 1909 is where the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot was published originally, and then soon after we have the Crowley's Thoth Tarot. So we have this very imbued, almost like seven
True.
number numerology, spiritual time. So fairly interesting. What are you getting? You're looking at those cards as
I know. I'm
like
just sorry. I'm,
what the
I'm like,
hell is
I'm
going on
getting
with these? No, don't
I'm
be
getting
sorry.
so like that physical. So I have these little cards and it's got a Mercury on it, a Mercury symbol and a Uranus symbol. The type of card is talking about leadership, okay? So when I'm thinking that like Mercury is that planet of communication and Uranus is kind of like that out there planet, the revolutionary planet. It shakes things up. It's very random energy. It's kind of like I was saying, like you have this money and we're going to pull something kind of random out and really take it. It's really taking a chance. It's really risky, this type of business venture.
Mm-hmm.
But with this leadership card, it's kind of like they want to almost start a revolution with this, start a precedent, like having people enjoy it and be entertained by it instead of being afraid.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it doesn't really feel like it is all about the money.
It's
It
okay.
might not be all about the money. It might be like we're gonna kind of change things up here. And yeah, what did you get?
Pretty much very similar to what you're getting. It is definitely an opportunity for them to gain, because I'm getting the Six of Cups in reverse, and then we also have the Six of Swords upright. So it is moving away from what they traditionally do, and it is a bit of a chance on, as you said, taking something different on. The intention is to maybe normalize it a little bit, I would say, but it is also about the gains, because it is very popular, it is very trendy to do something like that. And I think both of them being entertainers in different ways, Matt Rife as a comedian and the other person being a YouTuber.
Mhm.
You are, as a YouTuber entertainer in your own right, you have to keep the audience interested in whatever you're posting and whatever you're doing, same as a comedian does on stage. So I do think that it is a way for them to maybe garner a bit of attention in the
Mhm.
moment as well. But I do think that there is also a more deeper aspect to this and sort of transforming things and normalizing things, because on the spiritual side of things I actually get the high priestess in reverse and two of cups in reverse, so it is sort of breaking away from the norms, breaking away from the standard, going a bit deeper. And I do think that part of it all is dealing with their own spirituality, dealing with their own
Um,
kind of a connection to spirit and maybe personal experiences, stuff like that. So it doesn't seem to be all about the money, for sure.
Yeah, I got this other card and it again it has a Uranus on it again with Jupiter. So that combination, it's like again expanding. Jupiter expands this out there energy, and the card is talking about the magician. And you were kind of touching on like their own spirituality and deep diving into that. And this card has these deep roots on it, like
Mm-hmm.
they're diving down to see what they can bring out of it. So they're very curious. They're very like, we want to see things happen, not just on the outside changing things, but they want to like almost, yeah, play with these different objects, get different types of, I would say, like, video material. I think they're going to try to let other people creatively come into that space and make, record their own shows, having people stay over in the hotel part. And then, and this is the other thing about this YouTuber, like they don't see media like as the old school way. It's like it's very open and it's very moldable,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like, like if me and you went to stay over, we would create all of our own content and create something else completely different. So I feel like it's not a very closed intention with what they have. They're kind of like, let's see what's going to happen
Yeah.
more so. But why wouldn't you be scared to do this when that guy just got killed
I
while he
mean,
was on tour with the Annabelle doll? So I just wonder, like, dudes, are we taking this into consideration?
I just asked whether or not the respect for the collection, for the house, for everything else is gonna be kept, or if they're gonna basically steer away from that and do their own thing. And what I'm getting on my end is that they're definitely looking to kind of steer in a slightly different direction than what maybe the Warrens were. So I don't think that they are necessarily stepping into going demon hunting and helping people in that way. So they're doing something different and stepping away from that. I do want to say that it seems that they might be stepping out of the norms a little bit, maybe letting people in closer than what the Warrens would, or maybe even to specific artifacts that might have been sealed off from the public before, allowing people to now interact with them, see them, or experience them in some sort of way. So they're definitely pushing the boundaries, it seems. What I was seeing a lot on the internet is like different psychics saying, Lorraine is coming through from the other side, super angry that this is happening, that they're not respecting what they've built, and ultimately thinking and considering the safety of the public, which I think can be our next question as well, to see whether that is a thought in their mind, like consideration for the people that would actually be visiting this, and their safety, and if there is something to attach itself to them, to somebody that's visiting, if that's a concern or a thought even. So yeah, they're definitely pushing the boundaries with all of that, and not necessarily staying within the bounds that the Warrens have set before.
Divination Detectives is a duo that does more than talk about the hidden and the unexplained. We offer a unique experience of a tarot session where we delve into what your future holds, what you may experience, guiding you towards the path that will get you closer to your goals. There are spots available for the autumn sessions starting in September. Discover what awaits you this autumn, how to maximize your effort, and where your energy is best spent. You can DM either of us or send us an email. All the links are in the description box below. So it's interesting that you're talking about like the boundaries, because I got this card. It says attachment and it came in reversed, and it's got actually a ghost on it.
Oh,
A ghost
okay, good.
lady. Yeah, it does make me feel like they are going to be treating those things differently than what the Warrens. I don't know how smooth it's going to go, because I also got like when you were asking about like the protection of the people. So I think the Warrens have the protection of the people at the foremost of their mind when they have people in. I think there's a lot of stuff that they do, rituals, whatever, to do those kind of protections. So these guys are coming in completely different. It's almost like they're not attaching themselves to the way that things were. Obviously, there's probably, because they're leasing these objects, there probably is certain things they have to follow according to their lease. But I think their mentality is a little bit different. And when I was asking about protecting the people, I got the Eight of Wands reversed. So it's like, yes, they're going to do it, but it's going to be difficult. It's not going to go very smoothly. I think it gives me this feeling of, yeah, maybe entities leaving with people, or maybe things happening in the house that people getting hurt that maybe they weren't expecting. Because in this image, it's like this cat card, and the cat is running and he slips and falls on this mat.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes me think like there's going to be things that they're not anticipating that will happen, but I think it will almost push them to kind of take it seriously after that. So I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
anticipating, yeah, a few events happening where they're like, holy crap, like they were right. Like we need to protect, or we need to do this or whatever. But it's almost like they're going to figure it out on their own. Which hopefully they do before they have people sleeping there, because it just freaks me out.
Yeah, that's a safety hazard, spiritually talking, for sure. The only thing that I would add to, because I completely agree, pulling the cards, I got the same cards. We actually have the Six of Cups repeating again, I think now for the third time in reverse. Riffle shuffle the shit out of my cards. Just FYI, for anybody listening, and Alex knows this as well. So there is, a lesser chance of repeat cards. I want to say that with this, what I'm picking up on is this aspect of pushing the bounds again, pushing the line, sort of trying to do things to entertain, trying to create something that's fun, something that's engaging for the public, for those that will be coming around. So I think this is where safety might be lost to a certain degree with them trying to really just entertain people and give them something fun to do or to experience. And the notion that I got in my head that from the other side, it might be looking as though they're taunting the spirits or taunting the energies. And that might actually cause a little bit of a kerfuffle, I guess, with the other side, and where they might endanger themselves and endanger people that visit, because those energies riled up, particularly if we're talking about demonic energies. You can work pretty much with anything as long as you're approaching with respect and understanding that, it's just like you would be approaching a human. You're
And it might not even be like, sorry to cut you off, but it might not even be them two, like those two in particular that are doing the taunting or the
just
whatevers.
people that
Like,
come
you
in.
know what I mean? But it's the people they let in. I feel like it's
Yeah.
going to be a little too open at the beginning of what they're letting people say or do or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then that like you said, it's gonna like poke those entities that have kind of been in a pretty chill like state for a little while, right? Like with these previous owners and with their objects, and having all that respect. So yeah, it's definitely gonna rock the boat a little bit
Yeah.
with the unseen things. Of course, that's going to show. Will it be good TV? Sure, as long as no one's getting like super hurt,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
traumatized, or or going into psychosis or whatnot. Like that's the other thing too. Like when you're opening up like this, like yeah, people can be interested and they'll pay you money to come, but if those people are in a bad state, or they're not taking care of themselves and they're not approaching like those, that's going to be like a feast for demonic energy, right? if
Exactly.
you're if
Exactly.
you're at a low vibration going in there. So and they're going to have to learn those things, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And I think in particular, adding on to that, anytime that you make yourself more of a receptor, what you actually are doing are becoming sort of a lighthouse in the dark, attracting those energies that may not even be demonic, but just, spirits of those that have crossed over, or spirits in general, entities that might want to communicate or have something to share. And what you're doing is basically just creating the space, creating the time, and creating the opportunity for them to actually have the ability to communicate, whether that is going to be allowed to or not. But they will be more attracted to that area because now there is a higher concentration of people that are coming in there with the intent of, I want to see something, I want to hear something, and not just inviting it in, but giving it the invitation, but just the allowance to actually step closer to our side and to communicate. So I think even just considering that, it can be a bit more dangerous.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm just going to pull another card, like kind of like overall, how's this going to go?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And
Because I
yeah,
think that's a good place for us to conclude, because we definitely sorted the intentions are not bad, which is good to hear
right.
and get to see. But let's see what things are going to look like for them once they do all of this.
I got this sun card and it's coming reversed. It's not
Mhm.
the sun in tarot, it's in an oracle deck, but it's really about creativity, new beginnings. Okay, so where it's coming reversed, there's going to be some blocks. So I think overall, it's going to be a very good creative project, but there's going to be some confusion and maybe a little darkness at the beginning. But it makes sense for this type of situation. It's like that's the whole point. They want to be creative out of this darkness. It kind of is what they're looking for, but at the same time, they might be dealing with their own creative blocks, might come from influences from some of these spirits. And I think they're just not considering the depth of getting involved. Because if it's like if the spirits don't want to play, they're not going to play, right? They're not going to join, they're not going to cooperate. Those objects have been proven, I think, to be to be haunted and to carry some kind of energy. So it's I feel like it's gonna go. Like there's gonna be a lot of creativity coming out of it, but overall, is it sunshine and rainbows? I don't know. I don't think so. What do you got?
Well, I'm laughing on my end because I was shuffling as you're talking, and first card I pulled, Six of Pentacles, which is like, it's not going to be the greatest, but it's going to go. It definitely is garnering some interest and people coming in and, basically leaving money and, leaving reviews and basically recommending other people to come to have
Okay.
experiences. So I do think that at first it's going to be a blast for them with just the audience that's going to be interested in doing all of those things, to visit, to go and experience all of that. But the second card, and this is from tarot, we have the sun in reverse.
No way! No
I do.
way!
Look at this. Look at this. We have the
Wow.
sun in reverse. So I'm not going to repeat what Alex said. Yeah, we have two suns. We can take pictures for you guys if you need to as evidence. Yeah, it definitely feels like this is going to be less than optimistic in the long run, because the last two cards that I got are the Ten of Pentacles and then the Eight of Wands in reverse. So
Oh,
I don't think that this is going to be a long-term thing that's going to be successful. So I think they eventually might give up on the entire idea and maybe just do it low
mhm.
key. But yeah, I think as long as they don't try and oversell it, because if they go on their like regular social media and work and him as a comedian and on stage and try to oversell it over time, it might actually be a more of a diminishing thing for them. And I think that might also come as a sort of payback karmic thing of spirits
Oh, I
being
like
like, you
that.
know what, I don't like what you're doing with all of this thing, and we're just gonna jab it, we're
Yeah.
gonna destroy
And then
that.
he could lose some of his like comedic base. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, because
Yeah, like it depends like how much he screws around, but you're right. Like, yeah, there's so much unseen that they're not considering. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think if they do it respectfully and are not trying to make it into a circus show, is gonna be
Hmm.
fine. They're going to be okay. It's not, I feel like, again, still stands that long term. It's not going to be that of a big thing. I think it will die down. It's going to be a craze for a while and then die down over time. But I think that they can't really expect long term success with this or making it into something that's consistently super popular. But yeah, in general, it's gonna float by basically like a little ghosty for a while before, in my opinion, it sort of fizzles out over time. But if
Yeah.
they try and make it into a circus show, over push it, it is actually going to be more to their own detriment.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Very cool. We'll have to see
Mhm.
what happens and
Absolutely.
check in a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, Alex, would you be so kind to take us out to let people know where they can find us?
Certainly. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. And if you'd like to find us on Instagram at Divination Detectives, and our personal Instagrams are guiding_tarot and Goran's is tarot_shuffle. And we have our own websites and Facebooks under those names as well. So please come find us. Let us know if you need a reading or if you have any questions or new ideas for this show. We'd love to hear them. Thank you.